Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Good morning, everybody. Well, it's another day of royal news, and as usual, we have a lot of the working royals out and about, and then we've got Harry and Meghan. So let's just jump in with both feet and get there, shall we? Let's go.
We're starting off this morning with the fact that Gibraltar launched a series of stamps in memory of Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. I love them. They're very obvious collector's editions, so get them while they're hot, people. All right, moving on. Next up, a day or two ago, the Princess Royal presented Preet Chani with her NBE at the investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle. Don't forget, she broke the world record for the furthest unsupported solo crossing. She covered 922 miles in 70 days. Way to go, girl. All right. Next up, sticking with Anne, a group of young St. John Ambulance volunteers were honored for their achievements at a special reception at Buckingham Palace. And let's not forget that Princess Anne, is the royal commander-in-chief of this unit. Love it. Next up, we have the Duchess of Kent, who turned 90 today. Now, you guys may not realize that she stepped back from royal duties, and what did she do? She became a music teacher. She has lived a full and wonderful life. She did her own thing, but when she was called upon for royal duty, she never hesitated. That's exactly the kind of person that we needed. Good for you. Happy birthday. Next up, we have Prince Edward and Sophie, the Countess of Wessex. They were received at the airport by the governor, Mr. Martin Roper. Now, of course, we had some pictures yesterday, but not a lot. So here's just a few more for you. She looked absolutely gorgeous, as usual. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce on Twitter for the information on her dress. It was like 420 pounds. She made quite a statement because the dress is essentially sheer. But of course, she wore the appropriate undergarments. So yes, they looked fabulous when they got off the plane. You know, I have to tell you, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, Sophie has excellent taste in clothing and tailoring. Just like Catherine, her choices are always just phenomenal. All right, let's move on. Now, later that night, Sophie and Edward went to a government house reception. The two of them milled about doing their usual talk, and I have to tell you, once again, Sophie looked absolutely phenomenal in her dress. I'm telling you, I don't know who her stylist is, but it was wonderful. And then it came out again. Her dress was only 735 pounds. Absolute, look at that style. The woman's got style. Once again, thank you to Remoulade Sauce for the information on the outfits. And while they were at the reception, they handed over a message from King Charles. Very nice. Now, here we are the next day, and she went to the YMCA camp. She played dodgeball with the kids. At one point, she tried her hand at archery. Yeah, she missed the target, but she looked fabulous doing it. Of course, after she was done trying all the outdoorsy stuff, she went in and she does what she does best. She schmoozed with the kids, and they got pictures of the people taking pictures of Sophie. Now, at one point during the day, they made their own ice cream, and she actually ate it and said it was delicious. Nice activity. After the YMCA, the premier hosted a lunch to discuss sustainability and climate issues. Now, just so you guys are aware, Captain Andrew Aspin and Miss Angus Galletley are with them. They're their private secretaries. You know, they also went to an agricultural show, and then, of course, there were other things that they went to, but it's so hard to find photos. It's like nobody covers their royal stuff. Really irritating to me, but it looks like they're having a good tour. All right, this next story really got me. Apparently, the Queen gifted a house to Fergie and Andrew when they were first married, which Fergie and Andrew tore down and built a huge house that reminded everybody of the South Fork house from the show Dallas all those years ago. So Sarah lived in this house with the kids, Eugenie and Beatrice, after the divorce, and then it was sold and it fell into disrepair, and whoever bought it didn't take care of it, and now it's being ripped down. And of course, now we've heard about how Andrew's money's being cut and they don't know if he's going to be able to afford the Royal Lodge because he's going to have to go through his own millions to keep it, to bring it up, out of disrepair. But Fergie is swearing she's going to do everything possible to keep him in that house. Let's see what happens. All right, moving on. King Charles went today to the Felix Project in East London. This is apparently the capital's largest food redistribution center project. This place apparently provides meals to some of London's most vulnerable population. Apparently, there's over 1,500 volunteers, and they provide more than 1,000 meals each week. So Charles went in, he spoke to people, he saw how these mass amounts of food are prepared. I mean, you got to realize if they're feeding 1,000 people a week, the amount, just the sheer amount of food that has to be made to be able to, maintain that. Okay. So then they took him into another section and he pulled down the green cover on a refrigerator that said Felix. Now we know that he himself donated like thousands of refrigerators, or this might have been one of the ones he donated. Then they had him pull on a cord that was to the right of the refrigerator, and as soon as he did, the green wall behind him pulled up and you could see the storage area behind it. Yeah, they have to store a lot of food to be able to feed all those people. All right, so when that was over, of course, you know what the royals do. They go into the room and they open the plaque that shows when they started, when their visit was, whatever it is that it shows. Now, don't think that he just talked to the people that were inside, because when he came outside, then he started talking to the people that were out there loading and unloading the trucks. I have to tell you, one of the best things that Charles does is he makes everybody feel important, and he talks to them about whatever their job is and makes it seem like it's the best job in the world. I love that. Now, it's been reported that Camilla was supposed to go there with Charles today, and they're saying that she has recovered very well from COVID, but she's got several things to do tomorrow. I think they've got 3 things scheduled for her. And so she's going to be pacing herself. When you have COVID, especially as an older person, it takes the wind right out of you. Trust me. All right, next up, I agree with what this Twitter person put. We're talking about Shouty Shola again. She is a race baiter, and her behavior is unacceptable, but it's also unacceptable to send letters like this threatening people's lives. And I find it interesting that she has turned to the same police for help that she's constantly complaining about. That letter, when you read it, is actually a straight-on death threat. Now, one of my subscribers then wrote this, pointing out that she was not the only person to get a letter from that group. A trans activist also was sent one. So this is not a racial thing. This is just a group that doesn't like people. Now, I'm going to point this out to you again. I've already pointed it out to you before. Her family is part of the royal family in that area where they live. And they're one of the families that helped round up their own people and stuck them in cages on the beach to be sold. So when she's screaming about reparations, her family should be first in line. Now, the police, of course, have put out a statement. They're taking this very seriously. If you know anything, let them know. All right, moving on. Now, I have to say, I also agree with what John Boy here wrote. When Camilla Tominey got these kind of horrible emails, the Sussex squad said that she sent them to herself. But now that Shouty Shola is saying it, then it must be believed. I agree. All right, you guys, the memes that just keep coming and coming and coming. I would love to be able to list to you every single person who put up a meme, but there's so many, I just can't. So if I include yours in this and I didn't give you full credit, now you know why, and I apologize. So let the memes begin.
You, Natasha, and this is Madison here. Madison, how are you doing?
Good.
And have you read my book yet?
No.
Oh, well, do you want to read it?
No.
Out of the mouth of babes, honesty.
Looks like I'm gonna be needing to call dear old Dad for a little extra family jewels this time.
We want privacy. 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 We want.
And of course, let's not forget last Mardi Gras where they had a float with Harry's head coming out of a toilet and they called it the Royal Flush. So now, with everything going on with South Park and with everybody making memes, Harry and Meghan's popularity in the UK and the United States has hit an all-time low. Now, Prince Harry has chosen the nastiest, cheapest way to vent his frustrations about his family. Now, I've spoken to you about this Linda lady on the left. She's like the dumbest PhD person. She is a Caucasian shouty shola. She's the one who said that the royal family should just let all of the attacks from the Sussexes run off their back, that they shouldn't respond, blah, blah, blah. So she goes on this show. Listen to what she had to say.
Joining me in the studio to discuss this is royal historian Dr. Tessa Dunlop, who spoke too much during the last part from the back. From Suffolk, former BBC royal correspondent Michael Cole. And from LA, I love her, royal commentator Kinsey Schofield. There's always class, well, down the line tonight, not in the studio. Let us start with you, Tessa, because you always interrupt everybody else about Harry and Meghan.
He was born a prince in this ridiculous...
Behave like one, then. Behave like one.
He is.
No, he's not. He's doing it on his terms when he wants to earn money, and he's slagging off the very institution he now wants to pay to pay for him to be protected. Go your own way, but don't have it all ways.
I think the problem is it's very hard to separate Harry the person from Harry the prince. He's struggling with it. And actually, the attention they've generated, partly because they had to find a way of living in the manner with which he'd become accustomed.
Well, if you want to be a real person, don't live in the manner to which you become accustomed. Live like the rest of us live.
But do you see the contradiction?
No.
He would argue he had no choice. He was born into that family. He was born
He had a choice to
there.
walk away, Tessa. He had a choice to walk away.
He walked away and he made money in the only way he knows how, and now he's in a double
By
bind.
slagging off the very institution he now wants to protect.
But Kinsey Schofield, the young lady on the right, of course, spoke up as the voice of reason. Listen to this.
I love you, Tessa, but you know that Harry could have gone and become a motivational speaker. I want to talk to you about how I lost my mother and how it's changed my life. He did not have to tear into his family. He took the cheapest, the easiest route. He was given a podcast. I mean, he's got a relationship with Spotify. Talk to other people that have lost, do a podcast about grief and how you overcome grief. He chose the nastiest, dirtiest, cheapest way to monetize his relationship with his family. I know you know he could have. I mean, I've read your books. He could have taken a similar route to you. Here's the history of my family, the same way that Prince Edward did for a period of time. Please tell me that you don't agree that he could have taken a higher.
And that, my friends, is the voice of reason. He didn't have to do what he did, but he did. And this Tessa Dunlap woman just constantly takes up for him. It's like she's been brainwashed or something. She's like a shouty Shola. This man had no choice. He has to live this way. Actually, no, he doesn't. Now, the news came out that the Sussex brand could be even more damaged if Harry or Meghan lashes out to South Park, okay? Personally, I think their brand wasn't that great to begin with. We've already heard that Harry reached out. He tried to stop the episode. They basically laughed at him. We're not stopping. And now they have stepped forward, Harry and Meghan have, and said, no, we're not going to sue over the episode. No, we're not. And this entire thing is boring and baseless. And, but they never addressed how Meghan was handling what had happened with it. Very simple. All right, a few more stories we're going to touch on really quick. They're saying that Harry and Meghan could pull a Donald Trump if they get pulled in to the lawsuit for depositions. We know Meghan's trying to stop it. She could simply sit there and say, no comment, I plead the fifth. Harry could say, no comment, I plead the fifth. I don't know how well that'll go over in court, but they could. Okay, another story I had to touch on. This is the kind of stuff that's coming up that's just ridiculous. It's like King Charles is urged to apologize for an improper comment that he made. And then as you read the article, you realize the comment that he made was in 1975. That's right. They want him to apologize for a comment from 1975. This is the kind of stuff that's just ridiculous. All right, and the last story I had to touch on was Paul Burrell hit back at Prince Harry's claim about the ring, where he said that he didn't have the ring, so he couldn't give it to William to propose with. Paul Burrell said that is absolutely a lie. He did have the ring. He chose the ring, and William chose the tank watch, and they switched. He doesn't know why Harry's lying. Hell, nobody knows why Harry's lying, but he seems to lie all the time. Who does that remind you of? All right, you guys, you know what I want. Leave those comments below and make them good. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of my uploads. If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure you're still subscribed. Don't forget to go up into the description box and you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon. For those of you who've donated through the Coffee Fund and through my thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.